Hi, again. This is a little technique about how to read your chakras and to know what they're telling you. And to do that, we use this beautiful diviner's tool, right? Similar to like the diviners who could walk over with that the stick and read that water's there. Well, radionics, applied kinesiology, are ways to use your ultra-high sensitivity to have perceptions about subtle fields. And so I've learned to use this. Christopher Hills was the first one I learned it from. I don't know if you can still find information about him on the internet or not. And then Barbara Brennan taught us to do this to read chakras. And chakras, in a sense, you put it in your mind what you want to read, what you're sensitive to. And so we're trying to see if the chakra is open or closed. And if it's open or closed, or we're trying to see is it perfectly symmetrical or is it kind of elliptical? What type of spin does it have? So when we say spin your chakras, we're trying to get the chakras to all spin evenly. And when they spin evenly, it begins to create a harmonic resonance. And the harmonic resonances are like the higher vibrations around us that we can begin to read. These are spiritual vibrations. You see, if someone has in their field a chakra, one chakra that's really wide open, most likely there's a chakra somewhere that's a little bit more closed. And so we want to bring them into an even balance. And that's one of the basic techniques that we do in a beginning healing work. So what we do is, what you can do, you can learn to do this, and it is something that we can do with you or for you and give you a certain reading. So here I have a pendulum there. It's going one way, it's clockwise, and then it can go counterclockwise, and it has a number of choices. It can go front and back. It can go left and right, or it could do like a figure eight. I'm manipulating it now just as a sense of demonstration. So we can go in and with our intent, like actually put the you can't see it on the camera, put the pendulum right over the chakra and read that spin. So we can begin to get a sense of, oh, let's say the root chakra is spinning clockwise and it's really big, right? Let's give it a measure of 6. Well, it's kind of open to me. If I read that and it's like woo, 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 and it has a really strong spin, I know it's open. Now, let's say this is the front of the body and this is the back of the body. Well, then we can go on both sides and take a read of the second chakra. And let's say this one's counterclockwise, 2. So we know that it's kind of like it's going this way, right? So that means there's not a lot of energy there, and it's kind of like pushing out the energy. It's not actually absorbing it. And then maybe on the back side, it's I don't know. We're just making things up. It's a clockwise shifting, like it's moving all over, and we call it an elliptical axis shift, and it's a 6. So it's sort of like doing this. It's moving all over the place. So we can get a reading of what these chakras are doing, and we can do them all the way up through the field. And by the time we're done, we have a map of your 6th main, front and back, 12, 13, 14 readings. And from that, we can begin to, you layer onto that the psychological principles that are associated with those chakras. So there's one about earth and grounding. There's one about our emotions. And each side reflects a different part of that chakra. So like oppositions, there's sexuality. One's expressions of sexuality in the world, and the other is sensuality. So somebody might be actually, in this case, they would actually be kind of not really sexual, but something's happening over here. Their sensuality is beginning to open up. The solar plexus is how you think and how you feel in the world, how you act in the world, and this is how you think about how you act in the world, right? The reflections. Here's a great one to really to learn. The heart, right? Some people have a really big open heart. So let's say this person over here is, let's say they're an 8, and they're clockwise 8. Really big, really loving. And on the back side, they're a counterclockwise 1. This has, if you look at their body, they're probably like this. Right? They're not getting the support or the love that they need to stay in balance, right? They're giving. At some point, you give. Your health is going to begin to deteriorate at some level. You need to also receive, right? You need to be in equal standing. Samastiti, a great yoga word. Samastiti, equal standing, non-preference, to be able to sit in balance in the world between the extremes of both, to receive and to give, right? And so we can go through this and do a reading with you and then have a discussion and see really where these apply in your life, and then you can begin to have a game plan. Like, oh, well, I guess I need to do some more grounding. So maybe we should start doing some yoga, or some like Tai Chi, or some deep breathing, deep pranayama, right? That would be a nice beginning thing here. Maybe we need to do some, build our emotional body and get it more balanced, and begin to know what feelings are ours and what they aren't, and how to feel more deeply. Not emotional necessarily, but just a deep feeling state. How we think, right? Maybe there's actual real actions that we need to take in the world in order to represent ourselves more clearly, and to think more clearly, and to act more clearly, and on the other side, how to think of ourselves more clearly in those ways and make a game plan. So each of these would have a way to balance. And oh, here's a great one that I remember. I saw somebody that their crown chakra was, let's do it over here, was over this way, open, right? And here's the full chakra. Well, it was like going this way. And so I looked, oh, so there's a displacement then of their spiritual energy toward the father side, right? So they were in more of a patriarchal sense of their spirituality. And there are all sorts of rules that you had to do in order to be a spiritual person. Well, that may not actually be the case for everybody. And it would be better than to have this as a balance, right? And then make your decisions what your spirituality is, right? Not be directed by outside sources about what it's like for you as an individual to be a spiritual person, because every individual needs and is allowed to make that choice, right? And everyone will be different. So here we needed this, and that would then have to go into a play where we want to get these, everything here in balance. So what happens with the balancing, right? Like a nice fine-tuned instrument, those harmonic vibrations begin to spread out, and you begin to feel differently in your body. You begin to think differently. You begin to act differently. So that's a basic outline of what we do with a chakra reading. And you could learn to do this on your own. You can just go and start playing and say, well, which way is my root chakra spinning in front of my right, my solar plexus spinning, and so forth. But this is what we can do for you. And if you're interested in this, in having a chakra reading and an action plan from that, and then a short healing about how to bring this more into balance, you should contact us at the website below.